All right, so you're getting ready for a business consultant interview. That's pretty exciting. We're going to do a deep dive into RoleCatcher's resources, career guides, interview prep, even their AI tools to help you really nail this. It's more than just knowing the answers. It's about showing your passion and problem-solving skills.
Yeah, what's fascinating about this field is that it's about making a real impact. You're not just advising, you're really digging deep into a business, like a detective, finding those hidden issues that are holding them back.
That's a great way to put it. And the RoleCatcher Guide emphasizes that you're not just pointing out problems, you're crafting the solutions. So let's tackle some common interview questions and figure out how to make your answers really shine.
Okay, let's start with a classic. Walk me through your experience in business consulting. Now they're looking for more than just a list of past roles here. Think about the depth and breadth of your experience, what industries you've worked in, the types of consulting you've done.
So instead of just listing jobs, it's about connecting the dots for them, showing how your background is relevant to their specific needs.
Exactly. If you're interviewing with a tech startup, highlight your experience with growth strategies or digital transformation. If it's a more established company, maybe focus on process optimization or change management.
Now, RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer here. Imagine having an AI coach that analyzes the job description and tells you exactly which skills to emphasize. That's what their tools do.
It's like having a personalized roadmap for each interview. And speaking of roadmaps, let's move on to how do you approach problem solving as a consultant? This one is all about showcasing your analytical thinking.
They want to see your method, not just hear that you're good at it. How do you gather information? Do you rely on data analysis? Do you seek out multiple perspectives?
It's about having a structured approach. Instead of just saying, I analyze the problem, walk them through your process. Maybe you start by defining the scope. Then gather data, analyze it, develop solutions, and finally present your recommendations.
And don't forget to back it up with a real example from your experience. Did you face a particularly tricky challenge? How did you break it down and what was your solution?
Yeah, sharing a specific story not only showcases your process, but also makes your answer more engaging and memorable. Remember, you want to stand out from the other candidates.
Absolutely. Storytelling is key. Okay, shifting gears a bit to client relationships. How do you manage client relationships as a consultant? This one highlights the people side of consulting.
Yeah, they're looking for someone who can build rapport, communicate effectively, and manage expectations. You need to show them you're not just a consultant, but a trusted advisor.
So it's not just about technical skills. It's about understanding their needs and building trust. How do you convey that in an interview setting?
Talk about your communication style. Do you prefer regular check-ins? Are you proactive about feedback? Do you truly try to understand the client's perspective? And again, a real example can bring this to life.
For instance, you could talk about a time when you had to navigate a challenging client interaction, or maybe went above and beyond to build a strong relationship.
Okay.
Did you ever have a project where clear communication was critical to success?
Sharing those experiences helps the interviewers see you in action. And that's much more powerful than just talking about your skills in the abstract.
Okay, on to project management. The question is, how do you prioritize competing demands in a project? In consulting, juggling is part of the job description.
Exactly. And they want to see that you can handle that pressure and still deliver high-quality work. So how do you showcase your prioritization skills?
Well, you could describe your system for managing tasks. Do you use a project management tool, a specific framework? Maybe you have a personal method for prioritizing based on urgency and impact.
Be specific. If you use a framework like Eisenhower's Urgent Important Matrix, explain how you apply it. Or if you rely on a tool like Asana or Trello, briefly mention how it helps you stay organized.
And as always, a real-life example is gold. Think of a time you had to juggle multiple priorities, maybe even a tight deadline, and how you approached it to achieve a successful outcome.
Sharing that story demonstrates your ability to stay organized, focused, and adaptable, especially in a fast-paced environment.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the specific job description to pinpoint the key project management skills they're seeking. This helps you tailor your answers to hit those exact points.
That's the beauty of using AI for interview prep. It's like having a personalized guide that helps you focus on what matters most to each employer.
All right, ready to dive into change management?
Hit me with it.
The question is, can you discuss a time when you had to implement a change management strategy in a project? Consulting often involves guiding organizations through transitions, and they want to see you can handle the complexities.
It's more than just presenting a plan. It's about navigating the human element of change. So how do you demonstrate your expertise in this area?
Start by outlining your approach. How do you assess the impact of change on different stakeholders? How do you communicate the change effectively? How do you address resistance and build buy-in?
Think about the different stages of change management, like Lewin's unfreeze, change, refreeze model. Did you use a specific framework? How did you adapt it to the situation? And a compelling story can really elevate your answer. Describe a project where you had to implement a change. Talk about the challenges you faced, the strategies you employed, and how you ultimately achieved success.
Don't forget to mention the positive impact of your change initiative. Did it lead to increased efficiency, improved morale, or cost savings? Quantifying the results shows you're not just managing change, you're driving tangible results.
And remember, storytelling is powerful. Sharing a vivid anecdote helps the interviewer connect with your experience and understand your approach to change management on a deeper level. Okay, so let's dive back into those interview questions with one that really emphasizes continuous learning. How do you stay current with industry trends and best practices? They want to know you're not stuck in the past, that you're actively engaged in the evolving world of business.
So how do we show them we're dedicated to staying ahead of the curve? It's more than just saying you read industry news, right?
Absolutely. Talk about your learning habits. Do you attend conferences? Subscribe to key publications. Engage in online forums or professional networks. Be specific. Mention a recent book that shifted your perspective, or a conference where you learned about a new technology.
It's about showing them that thirst for knowledge. Now, how about this one? How do you manage and motivate team members in a project? Consulting is rarely a solo act. They want to know you can lead and inspire others.
Right, it's about more than just listing leadership qualities. Describe your leadership style. Do you believe in collaboration? Do you emphasize clear communication and delegation? Are you skilled at giving constructive feedback? And then bring it to life with an example.
Okay, maybe talk about a project where you had to overcome team conflicts or motivate members who were struggling. How did you approach it? What was the outcome? Did you use any specific leadership frameworks or techniques?
Sharing a concrete example allows the interviewer to see your leadership in action, which is far more impactful than just describing it. And on that note, let's tackle a question that tests your ability to handle pressure. Can you discuss a time when you had to manage a project with a tight deadline and limited resources?
Yeah, this is the reality of consulting. Clients often have high expectations, tight timelines, and sometimes the resources just aren't there. So how do we convince them we can thrive in this kind of environment?
Focus on your problem-solving and decision-making skills. How do you assess the situation? Identify priorities, allocate resources effectively. Maybe you had to make tough decisions about what to cut or how to reallocate resources to meet that deadline.
It's a great opportunity to showcase your adaptability and resilience. Maybe you had to implement a new project management methodology or get creative with finding solutions within those constraints. Share that story.
Right. The interviewer wants to hear about your thought process, your actions, and how you led the team through that challenging situation. And let's not forget that RoleCatcher can provide some valuable support here. Their AI can analyze the job description and highlight the key skills related to handling pressure and managing resources.
That's a huge advantage because you can then tailor your answers to directly address those specific expectations. Now, on to a question that gets to the heart of consulting. How do you measure the success of a consulting project?
It's not just about completing the project on time and within budget. They're looking for a deeper understanding of value creation and delivering tangible results for the client.
So how do we articulate that in a way that resonates?
Start by defining your metrics for success. Are you focused on financial outcomes like increased revenue or cost reduction? Or maybe operational improvements like increased efficiency or customer satisfaction? Be clear and concise about your key performance indicators.
It's about demonstrating that you understand what moves the needle for a business. And then, of course, back it up with a specific example.
Exactly. Choose a project where you successfully achieved your defined metrics. Did you help the client increase market share, streamline their processes, or improve employee engagement? Quantify the impact of your work. That's what makes it real and memorable.
Yeah, the more data-driven your answer, the more convincing it will be. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about a question that often makes people nervous. What are your salary expectations?
It's natural to feel hesitant about this one, but remember, it's a normal part of the interview process. The key is to approach it strategically and avoid giving a specific number too early.
So instead of blurting out a number, what's a good way to navigate this question?
You want to gather more information before committing to a number. You could say something like, I'm very excited about this opportunity and I'm sure we can come to a mutually agreeable number. But before I discuss specifics, I'd like to learn more about the role and responsibilities.
That shows you're more focused on the opportunity itself, not just the compensation. Plus, it gives you time to research industry benchmarks and determine a reasonable range based on your experience and the market value of the position.
And remember, resources like Glassdoor and Salary.com can be helpful for researching salary ranges for similar roles in your area. Now let's talk about a question that's often overlooked, but incredibly important. Do you have any questions for me? This is your chance to show genuine interest and gather valuable information.
It's not just a formality, it's an opportunity to demonstrate your research and your desire to learn more about the company, the team, and the role.
Avoid generic questions that could be easily answered with a quick Google search. Instead, prepare thoughtful questions that show you've done your homework.
Maybe ask about the company's culture, their approach to consulting, the types of projects they're currently working on, or their career progression opportunities. What are some specific questions you recommend?
You could ask about their approach to professional development and mentorship, their client portfolio, or even the biggest challenges they're facing as a company. The goal is to ask questions that are relevant to your interests and that demonstrate your eagerness to contribute.
And remember, taking notes during the interview shows you're engaged and attentive. It also helps you remember key details later when reflecting on the opportunity. Now let's tackle a question that often trips people up. What are your weaknesses? This classic is designed to assess your self-awareness and your ability to address areas for improvement.
Yeah, it's tempting to dodge this question or give a cliche answer like, I'm a perfectionist, but that won't impress them. Choose a genuine weakness that you're actively working to improve.
So instead of trying to disguise a strength as a weakness, it's about showing them you're self-aware and committed to growth. What's a good example of how to approach this?
Okay, let's say you struggle with public speaking. You can mention that you've joined Toastmasters, or that you're actively seeking opportunities to present at team meetings. Be specific about the steps you're taking to address the weakness.
It's about turning that weakness into a story of self-improvement. Now let's tackle a question that can be a real curveball. Tell me about a time you failed. Nobody likes to talk about failures, but this question is designed to see how you handle setbacks.
It's all about your resilience and your ability to learn from mistakes. The key here is to choose an example that demonstrates growth and learning. Don't dwell on the negative or blame others. Instead, focus on what you learned from the experience and how you've applied those lessons to your work since then.
So it's about owning the mistake and showing how it made you a better consultant. For instance, maybe you led a project that went over budget or missed a deadline. Instead of making excuses, walk them through the factors that contributed to the failure, the actions you took to mitigate the damage, and the key takeaways that have shaped your approach.
Right. It's about demonstrating that you can take ownership, learn from your missteps, and use them as opportunities for growth. That's a valuable quality in any field, especially consulting. Now, switching gears a bit, why consulting? This might seem straightforward, but it's your chance to articulate your passion for the field and explain what drives you.
It's more than just saying you enjoy problem solving or working with different clients. It's about digging a little deeper and showing them what truly excites you about this career path.
Exactly. What specifically draws you to consulting? Is it the intellectual stimulation of tackling complex business problems, the opportunity to make a tangible impact on organizations, the dynamic and ever-evolving nature of the work? Tap into those motivations and express them authentically.
Yeah, maybe you were inspired by a mentor who worked in consulting, or had a personal experience that sparked your interest in business. Or maybe there's a specific industry or type of problem that you're particularly passionate about solving.
Whatever it is, let your enthusiasm shine through. They want to see that you're genuinely excited about consulting, not just looking for any job. And this ties back to RoleCatcher's AI tools. They can actually help you articulate your why more effectively.
How so?
Their tools can analyze your skills and experience, identify patterns in your career path, and even suggest ways to articulate your motivations and passions in a way that resonates with potential employers. It's like having a personal branding expert in your corner.
That's incredible. It takes the guesswork out of crafting your narrative. Okay, on to a question that assesses your interpersonal skills. Describe a time you had to work with a difficult team member. This one's about navigating those tricky dynamics that inevitably arise in any team environment.
The key here is to avoid bad-mouthing the team member or dwelling on the negative. Instead, focus on the steps you took to address the situation constructively and professionally. Maybe you had a team member who wasn't pulling their weight, or who had a conflicting communication style.
So instead of complaining, it's about showing how you handled the situation maturely. Did you try to understand their perspective, have an open and honest conversation, seek guidance from a manager or mentor?
Exactly. Focus on the actions you took to resolve the conflict and create a more positive team dynamic. Did you facilitate a team meeting to address the issue? Did you offer support to the team member who was struggling? Did you use any conflict resolution techniques?
It's about showing that you're a team player, that you can handle difficult personalities, and that you're committed to finding solutions that benefit everyone. And let's not forget, RoleCatcher can help you prepare for this type of question as well.
That's right. Their AI tools can analyze the company's culture and values, providing insights into their expectations for teamwork and collaboration. This can help you tailor your answer to align with their specific work environment. Now on to a question that assesses your industry knowledge. What are some current trends in the consulting industry?
This is where they're gauging your awareness of the forces shaping the field. So how do we demonstrate that we're not just knowledgeable, but also insightful about these trends?
Before the interview, do your research. Read industry publications, follow thought leaders on LinkedIn, and stay informed about major news and developments in the business world.
It's about showing them that you're actively engaged in the industry, not just passively observing it. So what are some trends we could discuss?
Well, you could talk about the growing demand for consulting services related to digital transformation, cybersecurity, or sustainability. Or you could discuss the increasing importance of data analytics and artificial intelligence in driving business decisions.
It's not just about listing trends. It's about connecting the dots and explaining how these trends are impacting the consulting industry and the types of services clients are seeking. Now, for a question that really puts your persuasion skills to the test. Tell me about a time you had to persuade someone to see your point of view.
Persuasion is a core skill for consultants. You're constantly influencing clients, stakeholders, and even your own team members. So choose an example that showcases your ability to communicate effectively and win people over. Maybe you had to convince a client to adopt a new strategy, or persuade your team to try a different approach.
It's about more than just being right. It's about understanding the other person's perspective, building rapport, and presenting your arguments in a clear and compelling way. What are some key points to highlight in your response?
Okay, focus on the steps you took to understand the other person's needs and concerns. Did you actively listen to their perspective? Did you tailor your message to resonate with their values? Did you use data and evidence to support your arguments? And of course, don't forget to mention the outcome.
Did you successfully persuade them? If so, how did you measure the impact of your persuasion? Even if you weren't entirely successful, you can still highlight what you learned from the experience and how it has made you a more effective communicator. Now let's wrap up with a question that focuses on your long-term vision. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This is a classic question designed to assess your ambition, your commitment to the field, and your alignment with the company's goals. Avoid vague answers like, I want to be successful, or I want to be in a leadership role. Those responses lack specificity, and don't tell them anything unique about your aspirations.
So how do we craft an answer that stands out and shows them we've thought about our career path?
Be specific about your goals. Do you see yourself specializing in a particular area of consulting? Do you aspire to manage a team or lead large-scale projects? Do you have entrepreneurial ambitions within the consulting space? Whatever your goals are, articulate them in a way that aligns with the company's growth trajectory and demonstrates your commitment to a long-term career in consulting.
It's about showing them that you're not just looking for a job. You're looking to build a career. And remember, RoleCatcher's career guides can provide valuable insights into different career paths within consulting. They can help you explore various specializations, understand the skills needed at each level, and identify potential growth opportunities.
That's right. Their resources can help you paint a clear picture of your future in consulting and articulate your vision in a way that resonates with potential employers. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into business consultant interview questions.
We've explored everything from showcasing your technical skills to navigating tricky behavioral questions to articulating your career aspirations.
Remember, the key to success is to be prepared to be confident and to showcase your passion for helping businesses thrive.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI tools can provide personalized guidance and support throughout your interview preparation journey.
Their AI can help you tailor your answers, refine your delivery, and identify areas for improvement. It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
So go out there, crush those interviews, and launch your dream consulting career. That's a wrap for our deep dive.